Today I'm installing the All Dogs Off-road full suspension kit, the Bilsteins 5100s, these guys, and the 4600s for the rear of my R51 Pathfinder. So here's the Pathfinder. Just got the new bumper set up on. And here are my numbers, starting out position. So 19 and 5/8, 19 and a quarter, 20 and 3/8, and 20 and a half. So I got those measurements from the second S in Nissan. Appears to be pretty close to the center. Measured that up to the top of the fender well. And that's how I got those measurements. So let's see how this job goes. So current project, getting the two bolts off. This one, really tough to get to the backside. I don't know if I need to though. Looks like it might be locked in there. So I think I should be able to get the air impact on that one. Definitely can't get the air impact up there. So I use this big ass breaker bar, 3/4 inch breaker bar. Barely got it in there, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. One lesson learned. When I pulled this bolt out, there was tension. It's probably, I don't know if it's from the sway bar or from the axle, or I mean the, yeah, probably the sway bar. Maybe I should have disconnected that. But yeah, as soon as that popped out, this shot up. So, I don't know. Gummed up, made the threads a little flatter, but can't see it. But we'll see how it goes. Getting the spring out wasn't too bad. Just got the jack out of the way and pulled pretty hard. But here's a comparison of the original shocks. So no heights difference between those two, but the originals were pretty rough shape. But here's the original spring and the new spring. That looks beefy. Well, because I didn't disconnect the sway bar, that was a bit difficult. Ended up having to use two jacks on that spring to get it lined up just right. I'm guessing if I remove the sway bar, which on the next one I'll find out, but torqued everything to what I found online, 175 Newton meters on the shock towers and on the, what do you want to call that one? And I sprayed everything down with surface shield, all that rust. So put the tire back on and off to the other side. Okay, let me show you the problem I ran into. Happened on the other side too. I thought it was because I didn't disconnect the sway bar, but turns out the sway bar is broken already. So that's another project for another day. Okay, so got the spring out, the original. It's not too bad. So I put the jack underneath it while it was still all connected. And then this thing likes being up higher. Then it started out in this position because of the spring. I guess that makes sense because the spring's pushing it down. So this thing wants to be higher than that. So you have to jack it up a bit to release the tension. I was able to spin it by my hand, so I didn't mess up the threads like I did on that other one. So that was good. But now this is as far as, if I push this thing way the hell down, as far as more than it wants to go. It's got these boots, so the top's seated in there, and for the life of me, I can't get in this in. So I do have some spring compressors. They're not designed for springs as big as this dude, but I don't have to compress it that much. So I'm gonna put those on. That's what I did on the other side. Just enough. Get it maybe compressed an inch so I can get it up over this lip. So wish me luck. Woo! That took a bit of effort, but let's see. Flip, what are you doing? All right. Managed to wedge that in. You have to hold your tongue just right. Now the 10-minute process of taking these compressors off. Okay, newbie tip. You gotta be very careful where you put the jack, because it's constantly interfering. Had a piece of wood that was hitting underneath the rotor. Had just the second time I was almost there, but the lower part of the lip was further back than that, or well, it was further up. Like it was up here and it was hitting right here, so I couldn't get that. So lots of rookie mistakes going on. All right. Finally, have it almost lined up. Spring is very compressed, a little scary. It actually lifted the car off the 2 jack stands. A lot of energy there. Let's get that bolt in. Finally, got the bolt in, but I ran into the same problem on the other side, so I figured I'd share it with you. It doesn't line up. So if I put my finger on the blind hole, basically where the nut goes, I can tell it's low on this side, so this side of the arm, so it flexes. And how I fixed it on the other side was I put another, I've got a little bottle jack, so I put a little bottle jack up and pushed just to give it a little twist. I think I did drop this down a little bit to make it a little easier, but yep, I think I'm gonna have to do that. All right, another lesson. Make sure the spring is in either the new or the old one when you replace the shock, because yeah, it gets really tight, especially up there when this is all compressed up into the top. So tip number whatever. Well, that was exciting. Tough getting any wrenches in the top there. You may be wondering why I chose the Bilsteins and rather than the other options, Kona, Cora, or I think Old Man Emu was an option as well, but from All Dogs Off-road. But I thought the reliability and the life of the Bilsteins was the best out of all of those, so I kind of went maintenance free, so that's why I chose the Bilsteins. Right, on to a new day, on to the front shocks, well, struts. So challenges I ran into. I thought I'd be smart and only do one link of the sway bar, but as you might be able to see, it binds, so I'm gonna have to do the other side, drop it off. I've never used an open-ended wrench, or as much as I've used for these 14 millimeters on the top. If you have a ratcheting, or you might want to invest in a ratcheting 14 millimeter closed-end wrench for that. And then the only other problem was the beefy bolt at the bottom, 19 millimeters. Yeah, that was stuck. And the lift is complete. I think it looks pretty good. Definitely needs a alignment. Got some serious camber going on there, but not awful. Let me show you the numbers. Original, and I just drove around the block, so these will settle out, but so original numbers, new numbers, so over 2 inches everywhere, so yeah, happy with that. I didn't do any, or I installed the front struts as All Dogs Off-road recommended without on the lowest settings, and that seems to be working. And yeah, ran into a couple problems. So I've got to the cam alignment bolts that you can change. They worked on the passenger side front. Let's see, that's the sway bar, so yeah, right in here. Those dudes would not, I think they're stuck in the bushings, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. And I've got this rear sway bar is broken. Well, the sway bar link is broken, so gotta do that too. So, always a project.